What's up, you guys? It's your boy Ben Mahari here, represent Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Um, I just wanted to talk to you about something that has been really important to me, pretty much my entire life, you could pretty much say, but it's now been much more important in this past decade, in the last few years now. And it's about about my country of Eritrea, as you see the flag right there. Um, you know what I mean? It's basically a country that is basically a hellhole. All right, it's a place of hell that nobody knows about. You know what I mean? The country has been pretty much given the reputation as the North Korea of Africa, and based on all the things that they've done to the people ever since they achieved independence in 1991, it's pretty much a given reputation. So let me explain to you just about what I'm talking about here. So, um, ever since Eritrea gained their independence in 1991, um, the country has been pretty much ran on military conscription. All right. Basically, when you turn at least between ages between 14 to 18, you're subjected to military service. And they claim it is basically 18 months, but it's been basically turned out a lie. It's basically indefinite military service where you serve there and you basically are stuck there forever how long they have you there. And I've heard stories of people that have been in the military for at least 10 to 20 years and did not even receive anything. Basically, you're just a slave to basically to their duty work. That's just basically what that is. And what the problem I'm seeing with seeing that what people don't understand is that the stories that have been coming out about it is that people are just dismissive, ignorant, or they just don't even care about it. And a lot of it comes from other Eritreans out there too that support the regime. And I'm explaining to you why in a bit. But last night, um, Frontline, the PBS documentary series called Frontline, did a 1 hour piece in regards to escaping Eritrea, and it was basically a 5 year, you know, documentive, investigative piece that they did, where they basically interviewed people from northern Tigray, which is northern Ethiopia, and they interviewed refugees that basically escaped from the country, and they all each individually talked about how a lot of them went through various different prisons and went through different types of torture while they were stuck in those prisons. And a lot of them either refused to go to the military, tried to escape the country, or basically dropped out from school, or all three. And you basically are subjected to very crowded spaces where you can't even, move around much. And it gets so hot up in Eritrea especially during the summertime, that you basically are subjected into like dark rooms where they basically put you in there, and you basically are there to roast and die. And when you get sent into the interrogation rooms, they basically beat the hell out of you in various different ways. One of them I heard talking about was the goalpost torture, where they basically hold you up like a goalpost and basically hang you upside down, and basically will whip you with hot, plastic, pipes. Uh, gun, they torture your wounds with gunpowder, and they even whoop you with bamboo sticks on the soles of your feet. And trust me, that hurts. Um, they pretty much would torture you until like you have no mobility. You can't even move by yourself, and sometimes they even torture you even until you are basically dead. But when I was watching the Frontline documentary, a lot of the guards were even frustrated that they were basically working in these prisons, and a lot of them started smuggling in you know hidden video of what these prisons look like. And I'm going to post the link to the documentary in the description box below the video so you can check it out yourself. It's on YouTube. But when you look at all these prisons there, it pretty much gives you an idea of how much of a hellhole this country has become. And what really is heartbreaking is that you still got a section of Eritreans out there that still support the regime, that still don't believe anything that these refugees are saying, which is to me as an Eritrean man breaks my heart more than anything else, because we're basically self-inflicting our own wounds that we have caused on ourselves. Think about that for a moment. We our soldiers fought 30 years against Ethiopia to fight for freedom and independence against a regime that basically was brutalizing Eritreans, Ethiopians, you name it, right? Against the Dergs in the 80s. But after succeeding independence, what has happened after that? Okay, border war in Ethiopia with Ethiopia in between 98 and 2000 that ended real badly, that caused millions of people on both sides to be killed in the war, right? Then more imprisonment starts showing up. With more political activists that basically were standing up to the current regime, basically were sent into high level prisons where they basically are subjected to even torture. All right, and I really feel for a lot of the people that pretty much had to escape and had to basically walk through the danger zone. I mean, what I didn't know was that there was a 12-year-old that basically explained how he basically had him and a couple other kids had to walk through dangerous mountains and deserts with mines, right? They literally would plant in underground mines in which if you get stepped on, you basically get blown up. But he talked about how they didn't even thought about it because the only mission was to get to the refugee camps and basically trying to find a way to have some sort of freedom. You know what I mean? And it's really heartbreaking, man. And even myself, I had to listen to an Eritrean woman and during an Eritrean community event two years ago in Minneapolis, and she talked about how the Eritrean soldiers, would brutalize her, that would torture her, that would make her say things that was not true at all, try to interrogate her for whatever crimes that they claimed that she admitted that she did, right? And then afterwards, even if she did admit it to it, they still would torture her nonstop, and it could happen for weeks, months. You know what I mean? With no end in sight, and a lot of them pretty much died during these brutal torture tactics with little to no medical care at all. And for some that do get medical care, it's not even that much at all. So it's pretty much a place where it's so dangerous that you wouldn't even believe it. And when I was watching the Frontline documentary last night, when I was basically, hold on one second. All right, sorry about that. Just had to take care of a little bit of a quick phone call there. But anyway, um, as I was pretty much saying, when you're looking at the the smuggled in video that the Frontline documentary, you know, showed, there have been a lot of activists inside the country that would basically smuggle in their clothes, phones, cameras, little tiny hidden cameras to pretty much show the condition of what the country looks like. And it's nothing compared to what you see with the propagandic Eritrean TV, what they tried to preach, right? And I even saw uh, a protest, an actual physical protest in the country. And then all of a sudden, the military comes out and started shooting at protesters. You know what I mean? This is the kind of stuff that this country and the people are going through right now because you got a regime that's pretty much, in denial of the crimes that obviously are committing, but yet the UN threatened to try to, impose crimes against humanity on them. And what they did? Absolutely nothing. You want to know why? Because the UN is powerless to put any crimes on them. They pretty much tried to, put them through the amnesty court. You know what I mean? But nothing had happened back in 2016. What's it, 2016, 2017? But pretty much what happened afterwards? Nothing. Pretty much the whole case got swept under the rug and nothing happened to them. And even after the peace agreement between Ethiopia and Eritrea happened in 2018, even after a week or two when the border between Eritrea and Ethiopia was opened, you know what I mean? What happened after that? More Eritreans started fleeing to Ethiopia, which pretty much illustrates the point of how horrible the country has become. And then they pretty much shut the border down. Nothing has changed since. The same military BS is going on right now. The same torturing tactics have been going on right now, and even the military has now stepped up to pretty much take children away from their families, literally, to put them in the military. This is the kind of things that the Eritrean people are going through right now, and we've become our worst enemy at the same time because there've been people out there that've been participating in those evil acts, and now you compound that even further with the whole, you know, war dispute with Tigray in the northern region of Ethiopia right now. It's even gotten worse. There's been reports out there that Eritrean soldiers have been participating in the war efforts to pretty much bring those same refugees back to the country, or even brutalizing them, killing them, raping them. You know what I mean? The same thing that they're doing to the Tigrayan people too as well. I mean, it's really been a tough time for me personally, and it breaks my heart to see what it's like. You know what I mean? And the worst part is that when you see these bots, see these, assholes on YouTube, you know what I mean, that would leave comments of fake news, that, oh, this is basically propaganda news, whatever. They make me sick. You know why? Because they're continuing the same cycle that has been going on for the last 20 plus years. You know what I mean? And I'm tired of it. I can't deal with it anymore. And anytime I had to hear any of these same Eritrean loyalists that support the regime, I've had to really stood up to them, mouth them, and stood up right into their face, to the point that I was ready to go in there and fight. You know what I mean? It's been a frustrating time, and my hope, somewhere down the line, that the Eritrean people in the country start, rebelling against the government and start fighting back. You know what I mean? And slowly, a lot of activists are starting to, show more footages of what's going on in the country that the whole world does not even know about. You know what I mean? Which is a good sign from my perspective. But there's going to have to be more done, that to really show the world what the Eritrean government's been doing to the people. And you want to talk about how things are real bad in North Korea? Let me tell you something. North Korea may have earned their reputation as an evil dictatorship, but they ain't got nothing, absolutely nothing, to what the Eritrean government has done to the people ever since independence in 1991. Over the last 25 plus years, we've seen brutality, bloodshed, torture, rape, you name it, the whole 100 yards. And no matter what happens from here on in, I bet you that there's going to be one person on the comment section that's going to pretty much say, "Oh, you're propagating the same, fake narratives that the Western media is trying to portray." Right? I'm not interested in having those kind of conversations. You know why? Because you basically are contributing to the actual problem that's going on right now. And I'm not going to put up for this anymore. So that's just my 2 cents, the whole thing. Once again, I'm going to put the link to the Frontline documentary, in the description box. You know what I mean? So you can see it for yourself and see the amount of stories that you're going to see there. I will warn you that the things that you're going to hear and the stuff that you're going to see are very disturbing, and they're very powerful. You know what I mean? It's one thing that these people are telling firsthand accounts of what they went through, but to actually see it with your own visual perspective, it really speaks volumes to what's going on in the country right now. You know what I mean? But that's just my 2 cents. You never know what you think in the comment section below. And with that, I'm out. Peace.